welcome to this week's AGM webinar. I am delighted to introduce today's webinar speaker, Jon Tamburro, Senior Business Development Representative at T-Commerce, who will be presenting Unlocking E-Commerce Success. Today's webinar is sponsored by T-Commerce, an AGM vendor partner. Thank you to T-Commerce for sponsoring today's seminar. T-Commerce is taking golf retail by storm. They make it easy for clubs to sell merchandise online with no inventory risk or extra work for your staff. It's your shop, your logos, and your brands. Jon is a PGA professional who has worked at facilities including the Catanzit Club, Boston Golf Club, Muirfield Village, and Seminole Golf Club. During COVID, Jon launched his own online shop and quickly realized its potential as a powerful tool for engaging with his members when used effectively. He is excited to share his insights on how to best utilize an online shop to enhance member experiences. Jon, thank you for joining us today, and I will turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Justine. And thank you, AGM, for giving us the opportunity to talk to you all today. I'll go ahead and share my screen and get going. I'd like to start off with a little story that might sound familiar to many of us in the shop, especially I'm based in the New England area. So it's fall, the year where clubs in the Northeast are starting to run thin on inventory. We're trying not to stock up as we get to the end of the year and we start thinking about buying really for next year. So in this quasi time, our clubs are still active. Members and guests are still visiting the club, and they're still looking to come into the shop to buy something. As I mentioned, inventory's light. So typical guest comes into the shop, starts poking around, looking for a specific shirt, maybe a specific color or a size, and they can't really find anything that they like. So they just turn around and walk out the door. What happens next? What is that person's perception of the shop, their experience of the day at the club? I'm sure at all of your facilities, someone in the shop reached out to this person and said, "Hey, welcome to the shop. How can I help you? Can I help you find? We might be a little bit thin, happy to special order something for you." But that customer didn't really want to inconvenience anybody, so he still just looked around and walked on out. We need to find a way to capture that person, maybe when they're away from the club. One of the benefits of having a golf shop is that we have a specific target audience when they're on property, right? We know what these people like, what they don't like, when they're going to be here typically, and we can target them when they're here. But we don't really have successful strategies that we can engage with them when they're not, right? So let's take a look at what defines retail success. That's created by a professor at the University of Pennsylvania in the Wharton School of Business named Barbara Kahn. Barbara's written a book called The Shopping Revolution, and she hosts an online seminar class that you can take for free and learn more about retail success. But this kind of helps define what makes a successful retail operation. If we take a look at this chart, you'll see that the columns are shown as the customer experience. Customers want to buy something that they value from someone they trust. Makes sense. The rows, on the other hand, will focus on the principal competitive advantage. We want to do something better than our competitors, okay? So if we take a look at the upper left-hand corner, right, at product brand, these retailers are offering branded product superiority. So retailers in this quadrant are providing a little more differentiation, more value, and more pleasure, and ultimately more confidence to your customers just based on the products that they carry. So examples of this in the retail world are like a Nordstrom or a Saks Fifth Avenue, where they're carrying all well-respected brands. For us, that's our logo, right? Customers are coming into our golf shop because of our logo. And then based on that, they're saying, what brands would I expect to see in the shop? So how many times has a customer walked in and said, "Hey, where's the Millar? Where's the Dratty?" That's dealing with the product brand. Now, if we move to the right, this will really hit home with all of us. The experiential. The retailers in this quadrant are offering a customer experience that provides more pleasure and more excitement and more fun than any other retailers. The customer journey is seen as a lifestyle choice as opposed to a chore. It's a very high touch environment. This is where we excel, right? Customers are coming to the club for that golf experience. During events, pros will do a beat the pro contest for hit the green, double your money to get them to come into the shop. You could do chip and sip events with your ladies at the club to encourage them to be on property and then come into the shop with a cocktail in their hand and shopping. These are where we thrive, right? So now as we focus into the lower left-hand corner, low price. So very simple, offering the lowest price goods on the market. Retailers like TJ Maxx or Burlington Coat Factory do this really well. Whether it's a treasure hunt, people go in there to pick through items, see what they can find that's a really good value, and they buy it. So with a club, having a sales rack that's hidden maybe into the back of the store, or having a system where you put dots on your tags that are different colors, and those different colors are associated with different percentages off, and they're scattered throughout the shop, giving people a reason to just hunt for items that they look at. Now, in the lower right-hand corner, this is where we're really going to focus the majority of our conversation today, and that's frictionless. These retailers are eliminating all the pain points that are involved with shopping, creating a very convenient way for our customers to get the items that they're looking for. With frictionless, the more data that we can collect, the easier it is to personalize that shopping experience, and the easier it is to offer what they're looking for. Think Amazon. One touch shopping, you're on Amazon, it tells you things that you like based on your previous purchases. So in the golf shop world, right, we think online store, obviously, microsites that we've used in the past, or even now we're starting to see Golf Genius Golf Shop. In order to be successful in a retail environment, we need to be exceptional in one of these quadrants. For most of us, that's going to be in that experiential quadrant. And then we need to be proficient in the rest. So you'll see these hash marks on the axis lines that are diagonally facing the quadrants. Those hash marks represent the areas or the level you need to be proficient in that area. Those areas are always moving, but as I mentioned, we're going to be good with our product brand because we're going to carry items that are at the same level as the club, right? Low price, we're already offering sale items. We're offering a little bit of treasure hunts. Maybe we're giving member pricing. The area that we find that clubs are lacking in the quadrant to be good enough in is frictionless. All right. And with frictionless, we are basically trying to create a different channel of shopping. So we want to identify what's the difference between just a single, a multi, and an omni-channel solution here. Our goal is to ultimately create an omni-channel solution, which means we're going to have a holistic approach in our retail strategy. A single channel is just referring to our physical golf shop. This is where we're going to capture the majority of our sales with our members and guests. This is where we're going to engage with them the most. Multi-channel is something that we're already doing without even realizing it in the golf shop. This is where we have our golf shop and now taking a slightly different approach and maybe using some email campaigns or social medias posts that are advertising what we have in the shop, but it's not really connected to our physical shop, right? We still need to get those folks to come into the store to buy. So omni-channel is just taking those multi-channel solutions and linking them together to create one seamless shopping experience. When we create this omni-channel solution, we will now have insights on our customers from all these different areas so that we can offer exactly what they need anywhere they want it from any device in both the digital world and even the physical world. So let's look at some multi-channel strategies that we're already using in our golf shops to start. Club-wide email blasts and social media posts. First of all, this is a great way to promote what you currently have in the shop, upcoming experiences that are happening at the club, sales. You can create some buzz. We used to, with my staff, we would take videos of do lessons of the week. And within the lesson of the week, we would be wearing some of our new merchandise in the golf shop. At the end of that video, we would say, hey, if you really what I'm wearing, come on into the shop and you can get this piece and this piece. So it's really good advertising. It's a great start, but we're going to take it to the next level here soon. Microsites are typically used around the holidays from our vendor partners. These are terrific tools. You send out multiple different links from different vendors that you know your members enjoy shopping. It allows you to get a sale and capture a sale without you having to do any work. All you do is you send out the link, they fill out the form, and then on the back end, your representative is typically placing that order. Awesome tool. Problem is, members typically lose these links, or because they like shopping at Peter Millar and Summit Golf Brands and Johnny O, for instance, they have to go from link to link. It's not all in one, right? And then most of the time with these microsites, the vendor brand is more prominent than your brand. So think about that. We want to promote our brand. When you walk into your golf shop, all your customer sees is the logos displayed on all of your apparel. But when you go to the microsite that you're offering, they're really only seeing the Peter Millar logo or the Johnny O logo or the Summit Golf Brands logo. How can we flip that script a little bit and get it to focus more on our brand? We'll get there. Another way that we used to use when I was at Seminole and Catanset was we'd create these holiday flip books. I'm sure some of you have gone through this before. You sit through Microsoft Publisher, you start taking really good photographs of what you have in inventory, what you might think is a great gifting idea, and then you just start labeling. Really cool, trying to break down that barrier of frictionless shopping, but it's still a lot of work to set up on your end. And maybe the orders come in, but is it really enough to justify the hours that you put in to getting this set up? The last way that I've heard of clubs using is through Golf Genius Golf Shop. I haven't had much experience with this newer version, but I've talked to some friends who are utilizing these features. And from my understanding, it's been a tremendous tool for pros and merchandisers to target specific members based on their profiles of what brand they like or what size they like, even the glove and their ball brand, so that they can send out targeted, more strategic emails to the members who fit certain profiles. This still requires you to get your members to come into the shop, but it allows you to take what you have in your inventory and hopefully turn that over a little bit faster. So these are all great multi-channel strategies, but as you can see, they're working independently from one another. And again, our goal is to create that one unified solution. That unified solution is to create an online experience that is on par with the rest of the experience at your club. There is typically a little bit of fear when you say, oh, do you want to have an online store? Or should my club have an online store? But in reality, our members, our customers, they're reading online. They're booking tee times online. They order food online. I've recently seen a club doing a delivery and having online orders for their members. So why can't they shop for logoed merchandise online? When you think back to the time in COVID, right? Members and guests weren't coming into our shops. And so we had to be creative to try and sell merchandise. So we all looked to create an online store. But we were so far behind the eight ball because of companies like Amazon, who was fulfilling orders in sometimes the same day, and people were expecting these orders to be delivered to their front door in very short order. We were just, and I myself included, trying to get the right Shopify theme and get the right pictures online. By the time I did that, everybody had already bought everything that they needed to for the golf season in the event that, or for when golf courses open back up. And there was no need to use my online store. It's becoming a tremendous, it's been very common now in how people are shopping. So as we look at clubs, especially around the holiday seasons, we staff down, members are away. We're trying to figure out how to engage with these folks when they're away. We go back to that original story. One thing we can offer is a customized online experience that allows members to stay engaged with the club and purchase the logo, right? That's what they want. They want to be able to represent their club when they're not necessarily in the area. And because you're staffed down or because your inventory is low, you don't necessarily need to rely on doing it yourself. And we'll hit on this a little bit more in a short while. But there are services out there that can help you. Uh, and one last note about online shopping, and this is a T-commerce stat. Unfortunately, I tried to search to see if there was something that is common in the industry, but we work with over 400 clubs, and of those clubs, approximately 40% of the sales on our sites come from the hours of 5 p.m. Eastern time and 8 a.m. Eastern time. So all in that window, I don't know a single shop that's really open and like past like 8 o'clock. So I mean, you're getting orders at times when you're not even awake, right? And you're not doing anything or thinking about work. You're just out enjoying your evening, hopefully having a glass of wine or watching the football game that's going on. Some more advantages of having these online shops, right, is to help alleviate some stress in from our staff, right? It's creating a more convenient shopping for our members when they're away from the club. I just recently had a baby, or my wife and I welcomed a baby 9 months ago. And to clear room on my phone for photographs of her, I was deleting some images. And the amount of pictures I had of random shirts from the shop was unbelievable, right? And I was like, why do I have these? I had them because members are calling in, like, I want to get a gift for my husband or I want to get a gift for my wife. What do you have? And I'd go and I'd take pictures and then I would end up texting them to those individuals, or I'd end up FaceTiming around the shop and going, do you like this piece? Do you like this piece? So not a really great experience. As a golf pro, you're trying to exceed expectations. So you're doing everything you can to help your members and your guests, but not a real convenient experience, right? I even had an experience with a wife who walked into the store, and this is really funny. She looked through her husband's closet and was like, "I know exactly what he has." And she goes, "I know he doesn't have this shirt." So she was like, "I'm getting this for him for his birthday." She walks out, and a couple hours later, the husband walks in after leaving work, and I started laughing. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I got to call his wife." He was wearing that shirt to work that day. So you could do all you want, but sometimes you just you can't help it. Sometimes it just doesn't always work in our favor. But I always thought that was a great story. Now, when we think back to like how we're using our club-wide emails and social media posts, think about the world we live in now. We live in a world of like social media influencers. And anytime that they're wearing something or they're posting a video, they're linking the products that they're wearing. So now you can watch this video, or if we're doing a tip of the week, you can link that product to that image or that video, and your member or your guest could click on it and it could take you to their online store to that exact product. How great, right? Then within that, you could say, here are some other products you might like to look at. So now you're creating a fun experience that's around these social media posts or these emails that you're sending out to your members. Buy online and pick up in the store. Get people thinking about their visit to the club before they arrive on property. If your club utilizes a tea time system software, I'm sure you're sending out a email confirmation when they book a tea time. Include a link to your online store to the area that you have your accessories, your gloves, your balls, shoes, even socks. Get them thinking about what do they need before they get to their store so that they can go on, they can buy these items, and then you can have them nicely packaged in the shop for when they arrive, or even better, put it in their locker if you're able to, right? Get them thinking before. So back to our story from the beginning. What type of experience can we offer our members and our guests when they're away from the club, or if they came in to visit the shop one day, maybe that was their one visit. How do we get them to engage with our retail experience when they're away? Now we could offer them, hey, we understand we're a little light. Here's a QR code and a link to our Instagram. We're going to launch some new products, and we understand that you were here today, but we'd love for you to still buy something. And here's a 5% discount to our online store, right? So now there's a QR code. They're going to scan that. They're going to go on that online store. Once they see the products have been added, they're going to get their discount. And now they're going to end up spending more than what they would have if they had purchased in the shop. Just flipping the script on that experience, and pretty powerful if you can do that effectively. E-commerce and having an online shop is so great, right? And we're so used to it. Why aren't every club doing it? Why isn't every club doing it? Well, the fact of the matter is it's really hard. And as golf professionals, as merchandisers in the club, we're already wearing 100 hats and being pulled in every direction. So it's hard to devote the time needed to make a successful online store. There are DIY solutions that you can use and take advantage of. And for the right clubs, that can work really well. That being said, you really do need to dedicate someone specific to manage the online store, to adding products, to fulfilling orders, to dealing with customer service, and so on and so forth, right? Think of your online store as an extension of your physical store. What do you do on a bi-weekly basis to your golf shop? You rotate merchandise, keep it fresh. You're restocking. You're moving things around so that people who are at the club on a daily basis, right, come into the shop and they look around and they go, oh boy, this is new. When in reality, you just moved it from the back right portion of the shop to the front and center. So you want to make sure that you're doing those same practices in your online store to keep it fresh. And the worst thing that can happen is someone go onto your online store and not be able to find anything or not buy anything, because now they're going to be less likely to visit your site. So in addition, right, you can you need to invest in some additional inventory, right? So that you can stock your shop, right? So one way that you can do this is take advantage of some of the discount sales through your vendors, right? Closeout sales. So now you can offer a wider variety of products that is low risk, right? Because you got a big discount. So some other best practices, if you're taking this DIY approach, is have really clean photographs, right? If you're blessed to be on a really scenic property, right? Take your products outside and make it special, unique to your property. If not, or if the lighting isn't great, make sure it's just a clean background, white background, and make sure every picture is consistent. You can even go online to your RepSpark or your new orders and take the images directly from the vendor. Next is having a responsive customer service. We are a customer facing business, right? We do this on a daily basis. But sometimes the online world needs to act faster than what you would on the in-person world, right? They're thinking about purchasing this now. They may have 5 minutes in between their work call and they're scrolling through and they go, I want to buy this. Oh, I have a question about it. And they ping the email for some additional information and say you don't get to it for an hour. That person's moved on. They no longer are really interested in buying in their online store. They've forgotten about it and they're moving on to the next thing. They mentioned good inventory management and package presentation. So having a lot of inventory on the site, or basic inventory, even if you just stock your online store with just your core basic items, your fairway and green caves and your blues and whites and their basic shirts. If you even did that, that's a great start, because those items are never going to go out of stock. And if you need to fulfill them at a later time, you can do that in relatively short order. Make sure your package presentation when somebody orders something is very clean, right? Maybe put a thank you note in there saying, hey, thanks for your order, with a 5% discount code to their, or 10% to their next online order. Do something special, something that separates you from any other online vendor. Lastly is make it fun. Utilize the social media shop promotions to get people shopping online. When I was in college, I went to Penn State, was in their PGM program, and they would do every holiday season to kick off, they would do a balloon sale. So that's a balloon sale. And they were like, oh my gosh, it's nuts. Everyone puts the balloons on the in the golf shop and you go, you buy everything. And right before you check out, you popped the balloon and inside would be your discount. And there would be one balloon that had 100% off. So everyone would be trying to search for that balloon. So find a way to be creative and create that fun environment. Maybe it's a spin the wheel at checkout to see what your discount code is for shopping, or maybe do something around the Super Bowl, do a Super Bowl squares contest. So for every $50 you spend, you get one square. And at the end of each quarter, you're giving away a free item or you're giving away a gift certificate to the online store. People love to get engaged with your games. And then lastly, try and tie in your physical shop with your online shop. Someone spends a lot of money in your physical shop, you're like, hey, really appreciate your business. Here's a gift certificate to our online store. Feel free to buy something on us for the holiday season or what it may be. Get people engaged, get them used to shopping in both your physical shop and your online. I was very lucky to work with a couple who did this really well. It was while I was at Sankey Head, and Dieter Wiedmeyer and Emily Wiedmeyer, they were a husband and wife, and they took pride in building and managing their own shop through Shopify. And Emily was truly dedicated to this craft. If it was her baby, she would take all the photographs, she would put them on Microsoft Publisher. She would superimpose the Sankey Head logo onto those stock images and upload it to the site. She would run social media promotions on specific products, and she would like take deep pride in making sure that there is a lot of variety on the store. She probably was investing 50, 60 hours a week in doing this, and she was handling the fulfillment as well. It can be done, but it really needs a unique, special circumstances to be very successful. Dieter and Emily, because they were seasonal on Nantucket, the season basically died down after Labor Day. So they could really focus on that online shop without really having to worry about being busy in September and October, which isn't really that feasible for a lot of clubs out there. And then when they were off property in the wintertime, they would actually have stock orders from vendors shipped to them down in Florida, and they would fulfill orders from their house down in Florida. So they didn't really run the challenge of a member walking into the shop, buying a specific piece or two or three specific pieces, and then someone going online and buying those pieces at the same time and then being like, oh, those pieces are no longer available because someone purchased it in the shop. So they were in a very unique situation, but they took pride and they were very successful doing it. So for those who don't really have the man hours, don't have the resources, and want to carry the additional inventory, they can begin to look at a service. And that's really why we founded T-commerce. We recognize that e-commerce is challenging, and we recognize the importance it can have to helping you connect with your members. When we build a store, we try to integrate with your existing website so that your members feel like this is a part of the club. It's a part of your golf shop. It's a part of the same experience that you're trying to build with your members and your guests. As we build out your site, we give you the tools to select the inventory that you want to have available on your site. And we also give you the tools to add merchandise from your own inventory. So now in that example where somebody comes in and buys items, or you're running low on inventory, so there's not a lot of merchandise available on your online store, you can supplement with our catalog and then add items from your own inventory that'll help you liquidate things and get ready for the next season as you see fit. With items from our own inventory, we print and embroider and fulfill these orders on demand, allowing you to offer a wider selection without you having to do any work, or without you working with vendors who may have turnaround times that are longer than what you could potentially be looking to offer. So T-commerce is your club and your shop, right? So the first thing that we do when we set up a shop is we build your storefront. There is no rinse and repeat, and we are fully into the background. You can notice with all of our shops, it's everything is just has a slightly different look and feel to it so that it's customized to your brand, to your club, to your members. We even password protect it for some folks who are have an issue with privacy or are worried about that with their club. I'm going to pause here for a moment. We're going to change screens so that we can take a look at an example shop for you. So let's see. Apologize. So can everyone see, can we see the Tobacco Road screen? All right, sorry. So we are working with Tobacco Road and we have relationships with approximately 400 other clubs. As we scroll down here, you'll notice a bunch of different items available on the site. These are just digital representations of products that exist. Like Dieter and Emily, we're basically taking those stock images from a RepSpark and uploading them to the site. And then our tech allows the logos to be overlaid on it. And I didn't mention this before, but one way that you could enhance your own online shop if you're choosing to do it through Shopify or a DIY solution is you could just take items that you know are all in stock on RepSpark. So your basics programs like in Fairway and Green, like their Caves Vest, and you could take those images and put them on your online store. And then anytime somebody orders, you could go into RepSpark and then place that order as a special order and fulfill it that way. A little bit more complex. And then you may be relying on timing of embroidery and delivery, but another way that you can do it. Little cumbersome. I wanted to mention that as well, and I failed to do so prior. So going back to this product here at Turtleson. So this product doesn't exist. Guests can choose exactly what logo they want as the logo changes, or maybe even as the color changes. If you're doing a color coordinate logo, the tech will make an adjustment for you. Add to cart, check out as you would with any other e-commerce platform, right? Now, one thing that we try to do for you is create featured collections. These featured collections change on a bi-weekly basis. So that way, your members, your guests, they can come here, they can find something different, they can see a different grouping of merchandise. And in addition, we'll provide some marketing materials that'll let you send out to your members that you can copy and paste into your emails and link so we can create that omni-channel, that holistic approach in retail strategy to get them to come to your online store. All right. We'll apologize. We'll head back to. So that was just like a very high level overview of the T-commerce platform. Other ways you can utilize your online store or utilize your T-commerce platform is through tournament and gifting portals, right? We do this already with individual specific brands, but as we know, we can never win over everybody because for some reason, this brand doesn't appeal to this member or that guest or whatnot. So with our platform, you can have access to all the different brands that we have and give your members and guests an experience with a code to go shopping for your Carhartt, your Lululemon, your Peter Millar, whatever it may be, right? And we can fulfill it and ship it directly to them. We also have clubs that rather want to present the items the day of the event, and we can do that as well and just box them up and ship them to your club. Outside of this, we're more than just an online shop for you, right? We try to think of ourselves as a merchandise concierge and an extension of your team. You can use us for bulk orders. We've had instances this year with some of our partners who look to do special commemorative t-shirts around the PGA Junior League for their team winning. So they got them some special tees. They took some orders, and I think the number came out to 37, right? And we did a special embroider or screen print on the front and on the back. I'm not sure of another vendor out there that you can do 37 screen printed t-shirts. Normally the minimum is much higher. So we were able to satisfy that need and provide the experience for those kids. We try to do as many bulk orders as you need, right? To help you exceed those members and guest expectations. Last minute fulfillment. For instance, hats can be very challenging or take a little while to get embroidered. We've had some emergency fill in on headwear where we were able to, you know, get orders of blanks and expedite the turnaround time in the embroidery. So, you know, you ask, we try. It's like the old field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. We try to do anything that you ask. And then from there, we try to build and grow upon that to try and satisfy some of the other challenges that are happening in our. So with that being said, I know we crammed a lot into a short little while, and I'm sure there's some questions that you may have. Going to leave you with one last little quote of just try and give the gift of convenience to your members this holiday season. Give them an opportunity to shop in one seamless transaction. Let them feel the connection between the digital world and your physical world to have similar products, a similar experience that they would have, and give them access to all these different brands that you may not carry in your current shop, but they enjoy wearing. Give them the gift of convenience, and you will reap the rewards at the end of the holiday season by collecting a check and having a nice glass of wine to commemorate the holiday season. So thank you all for your time, and love to open it up for some questions.
Thank you, John. I'll get us started with a question I had. What are your kind of thoughts or kind of pros and cons of an online store and a golf shop where the inventory is managed separately versus going the omni-channel route? The online shop I previously managed, the inventory was managed separately just to keep things clean, but would love to get kind of your thoughts and experience comparing that to going more of the omni-channel route and having one bigger inventory.
Yeah, and that's a challenge and the nuance, right? And
Mhm.
so it's all depends on the resources that you have, right? In your buying plan, saying, okay, if our typical size run is 131 in this style, but you want to also offer it in your online store and have that similar experience. Maybe it becomes 262, right? Or maybe you double it if you think you're going to get more volume that way, or maybe you just multiply it by one half, right? So you need to play with the numbers, and unfortunately there's no easy solution. But I would say that's a beauty of e-commerce, right? And we how we operate is we tap into the rep sparks, and we are looking at a seasonal products that have inventory, so we can upload inventory that is current for the season, so that you can either match what you have in the shop or you can complement what you have in the shop, right? I don't think omni-channel means having the same type of products necessarily from both your golf shop and your online store, but having them complement each other. So you can even just have items that are like, hey, we offer this color and this color in the physical shop, but we offer this color and this color in the online shop, right? So just finding that blend that works for you.
Definitely, and having an online exclusive color drop or group is always fun and an incentive for them to shop online.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct.
I have one more question I'll ask before we wrap up. I know we're all starting to think about the holiday season right around the corner, and the shops are going to be getting busy and all that. Is there anything really fun or different that you've seen your T-commerce shops do in the holiday season? Anything that could maybe be a little bit of inspiration for our members to think outside the box for their holiday sales?
So there's a club. They're not a T-commerce client, but they have another online shop presence and do really well with Instagram and social media. But Essex County Club in Massachusetts, Jack and Amanda Davis, again, another husband-wife combo that kind of takes pride in the omni-channel type strategies. They do they do a 25 days of Christmas on their Instagram where they feature individual products each day of the month. And on those days, there's sales, right? So it's a sale on glassware, or a sale on Peter Millar, Peter Millar products, and so on and so forth. I think the more creative you can be in like having like even just focused around individual products and getting people to think about Best Buy does this, right? It's like the drop of the week, right? And you go, oh, I need that. It's limited edition, limited time. you create that sense of urgency. If you do it frequently and you do it with strategically with products that you have and could be are great gift items, then you can be very successful. The other way that I think you can leverage the two together is, as I mentioned before, if you have a holiday party at your club, you're going to see a lot of foot traffic into your golf shop. But that's usually like the last time that you see a lot of your members coming through the shop, right? Because it's like the last function, especially if you're in the Northeast. If you're in the South or warmer climate, might be a little bit different. But if you tie in an online component, spend $100, gain $25 in online shop credit, spend $200, gain $50 in online shop credit, like a buy more, save more during these times when you have that captive audience, you can then encourage folks to be like, hey, last minute shopping, I can go on the online store and get these fulfilled in a faster manner and get them thinking about shopping when they're not necessarily at.
Definitely. I think creating that sense of urgency is key, and that certainly is the kind of key in mainstream retail. So it's certainly a way we can borrow that from them.
For sure. We're not reinventing the wheel here, right? We're basically putting, like when you say omni-channel and multi-channel, those are big words to make us sound smart. But in reality, we're all doing everything, doing the same, having the similar strategy. And we just need to just retool them to fit this digital world because it is a little bit, it's new. It seems like it's uncomfortable, right? Are our members going to be uncomfortable doing it? This is an old club. Like what's the perception going to be? But in reality, everybody's already doing it, right? They're already experiencing online shopping, and clubs are just a little bit slower to react. So how can we take what we do really well in the physical world and embrace the digital world and just add those things to that, and we'll crush it.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. And thank you again, Jon, for a great presentation. We so appreciate our partnership with T-Commerce. Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you at future AGM education and events.